happy 11/11 portal. Oh my gosh, there's folks already here. Hello and good morning. How are you guys? It's Michelle. Okay, so if you are here live with me right now, you can come and say hello right here in the little chat. So like if you go to the top part of the screen, I'll say like put on the chat. As long as you are signed in to your YouTubes, you can chat with me and say, hello, how are you? If you're watching the replay, you're going to comment down here because there is no live chat if we ain't live, right? So anyways, welcome to my channel. I am so excited you guys are here today. It's such a good day, you guys. Even though if you're in Nashville like me, it is gloomy fall day, but it's such a glorious fall day. It's so lovely. And I'm so glad that we're here. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Soul Coach Michelle. This is my channel. Welcome, Soul Coach Studio TV. And this is one of my favorite days. Oh, let me finish my intro because I worked really hard on that, by the way. So I'm Soul Coach Michelle, your manifesting maven, friendly neighborhood super woo, and soul coach. And we're here on this channel because we do readings, we do manifesting talk, all the woo things to make sure that you're creating the life you want with the universe together and having a wonderful time. And that's why we're here today, is because we're going to do our tarot oracle card reading. This is my signature, one of my signature card spread designs that I created, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. Those of you who have been around, you will correct me, I'm sure. So let me see who's here. Oh, hey. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Carol. Hi, Katie. Hi, Jazzy. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are here. Welcome. Okay, so let me move over so I can look at the comments on the thing here. Okay, there's everybody's comments. Yay. Okay, let's get started with the fact that if you're here and you have not liked my channel already, sorry, that was my timer because my tea is ready. Do you love my mug? I love this mug. I got it on Halloween a couple of years ago from the TJ Maxx, but I use it all the time because duh. So anyways, I have some blueberry green tea in here from Aroma G's. No, they're not paying me to say this, but I love them. If you have a chance to get over there at some point or order online at aromags.com, their tea selection is killer. This is actually a blueberry green. It doesn't have any green tea. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a blueberry with rooibos, which is decaffeinated. So it's a good herbal, but also a type of tea. But anyway, it's a lovely drinking my blueberry. So I open my throat chakra so that I can say all the things. Anyway, so I digress. So today's 11/11. Welcome. Hey, Desiree. Hey, girl. Hi. I need to get me some of your mugs. That's another one. Desiree has some kick-ass mugs. She runs the Slightly Unfiltered podcast. Love her. Y'all need to check her out on Instagram. And Debbie. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Welcome. Okay, so I love today. This is my favorite day of the year. It's like ahead of Halloween. I'm sorry, guys. I mean, I love me some Halloween. I love doing the card pulls on Halloween because that's fun because we get to chat and stuff. But doing this reading, whether you book a private version of this or not, this will help you navigate all the stuff. So, Kathy's here too. Hey, Kathy. I love how Katie and Kathy are together. Anyways, so those of you who have done this reading with me before, you know that you've gone back and looked at your stuff. I've gotten emails throughout the year saying, oh my God, one person said to me, and this was like, she had her 2020 reading done in 2019. And it said in like March, April, she goes, Michelle, oh my God, you're going to die. She says, here's what you said. Cause I went back and listened to my audio. Cause I send an audio replay when I do these for folks. And I send a PDF with the spread of your personal reading. And so she sent me a note and she goes, oh my God, you said, even if there's Armageddon or a pandemic, don't worry, my business will be fine. It'll just shift and you'll be fine, but you'll probably freak out just like everybody else. And I was like, holy crap. I don't remember what I say half the time because it's all channeled. So I was like, holy crap, seriously? And she sent me the thing and there it was. So I was like, yay me, but did I really want to? But anyways, the fact is that when we do these, it's not scary. It's like, hey, the fact is that here's what's going to go on and here's how you're going to navigate it so you have some ease and grace, because I think that is our goal, especially after the couple years. So let me get started with the energy of today, the portal, the 1111 portal that's happening right now today. And I'm so glad you guys are here because I'm going to give you some like action steps for you guys to take if you so choose. And then we're going to go over the energy of the last couple of years, the numerology behind them, and then like where we're going. Because I think especially this year that's coming, and the energy is so delicious, y'all. It's if you choose it to be delicious, it's going to be so friggin' good. Because especially after it's like it's almost like for the last 2 years you have been served lima beans and Brussels sprouts and like all the nasty shit, and like next year is going to be like, here's some chocolate truffles that like have champagne powder on the outside. Okay, so 1111. Now let's talk about that. Today's 1111. So, and it's, if you're watching this live, it's 1111 today. If you're watching the replay, this is when we did this stream. But today, so happy Veterans Day, and thank you, infinite love and gratitude to all our veterans, because regardless of how people feel about stuff, stepping into that role is such a glorious, lovely energy when you step into that role of being, the protector of your fellow human. So thank you. Happy Veterans Day. The 1111, in that same vein of what Veterans Day means, like stepping into that, if we claim it in a wisdom place as opposed to say, a thought place or an emotion place, when you claim it in a wisdom place, it's all about ascended master wisdom energy, because 11 is an ascended master number. 22 is an ascended master number. And I have all my notes down here because, like, obviously I'm wearing my glasses for over 40 eyeballs and over 40 brain notes. So 1111 is the ascended master energy. The 22nd, which when you add 1111 together, is 22. So you have super ascended master energy today. And by the way, can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, or am I just talking? Because I had a friend do an entire hour-long live stream and nobody heard her because her audio was off and nobody said anything. So just like thumbs up if you can hear me. But the reason today, thank you, Alina, right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Alina. Oh, that is some good stuff, y'all. So the 2022 is the wisdom and teaching. The 11 is your wisdom. So a lot of times we move through life, right? And we learn stuff and we keep it in our brain. Like you can say to yourself, oh, I know that, but do I really embrace it? Do I really embrace it? That's the emotion. Emotion is like shit, or yay, and we make decisions from there. And sometimes it's not always great. Sometimes we lean into logic a whole lot when we're doing stuff. And that's kind of like a self-soothing thing, but it's very fear-based because we're trying to control. But if we blend those two things together, remove where there's control and fear and lean into love in that vein, that wisdom energy is all today, which is why people always say today is like a manifestor's dream, as if today is more magical than like if you choose next Tuesday or 3 Tuesdays from tomorrow. So the thing is this. The energy is there to support your efforts. It, again, is a tool. Just like if you had a crystal or, card decks, I can read cards all day long. But if you guys, or if I pull cards for myself and I don't listen and I don't take my inspired action or my inspired rest, yes, those are two things that happen. What happens is the things that we claim we want, we're putting power externally. So I want you to be really clear about something. Today is a great day to support you blending your emotion, the best parts of your emotional mind and the best parts of your logic mind into your wisdom mind, because that's the numbers of the day. And that's why it's so great for manifesting, because what's going on is when you step into that wise mind allows you to be really clear and honest with yourself, which is what's going on right now, is the energy of being honest with yourself. If you watched the last time I did my Monday video, get really honest with yourself and you say to yourself, okay, here's what I really want for me. Not, well, I want this because my kids will be happy. None of that shit. Or I want this because my partner will be happy. Okay, that's fine and good. But really, what do you want for you? Because I know Like my partner's excited when I go get a pedi because I come home happy. So it's more about when you can take care of you, then everybody around you benefits. Okay. So, from that perspective, today is the wise mind of understanding the self care is all about me, not about other people. And where can I do for myself? What do I want as I move into next year? What do I want for me? What if you're an entrepreneur? What do I want my business? How do I want my business to be of service to me and to others? If you work for somebody else, how do I want to present myself in the career? If you're looking for love, where in myself do I need to love myself more so that I can radiate that energy? Like, what do I want for me to support these things? And then knowing where in that list of things, and this is your action step, just hint, 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 where in this list of wants am I going to take steps or rest? And the way you know it's inspired versus control is am I being called to do this or am I trying to force something? So those are things you can kind of write out that are really great to do on this day after we watch this video because you'll get an even clearer picture of what's going on, you know, in the next 12 months or so. Because honestly, I feel like that energy that's coming, y'all, is so much better. Like I said, Brussels sprouts and lima beans and then chocolate. So we're in for a goodness if we choose to do it. So understand what today's bubble is about. So after this video, maybe take some time, whether you can put it aside later today, or maybe, if you take lunch later, right after, and do that exercise of what do I want? Why do I want it? What's it going to do for me? And then what are the steps that are within my control? And within my control doesn't mean I'm going to go and do this to make it happen. It's much more about where is the feeling, where's the wisdom in my heart and my gut of what I can do to support these intentions, and where do I need to let the universe take the wheel? That kind of stuff. Okay. So just keep that in mind as we go through all of this. Now let's talk about 2022 energy. So thank you, Jesus, Oprah Winfrey, Buddha, Mickey Mouse, whoever the fuck you believe in, yourself, whatever, because this year it's going to be 100 times better. The thing is, yes, there will be contrast. Yes, there will be ups and downs. I'm not saying like we're moving into the utopian society of whatnot, but based on the last two, it's going to be like, thank you. Okay. Especially if you did your work. You know what I mean? Because if we keep resisting, resistance is futile, but some people just keep on doing it whether they want to or not, and because they don't realize they can choose. So that said, let's recap the last 2 years. Like I have to, but I'm just going to go there because I think we need to know where we've been so we can really claim where we're going. So 2020, I think we all know what happened there. Shit show doesn't cover it. It was a 4-year. And so every numerology number has a high, just like everything has a high vibration and a low vibration. So the thing is, a lot of times 4s come in and they are kind of like the Tauruses of the world, stable. They like structure. So it's all about structure and don't fix what ain't broke. But I think the low side is about stubbornness, where like we're putting duct tape, where there's more duct tape than thing. Because I don't know if I think this is like a dad thing. My dad does this. I don't know if other people's dads do this kind of thing, but they will duct tape the shit out of something just to keep it going because they're like, well, I don't want to spend money on a new whatever. But then all of a sudden there's more duct tape than thing. And all of a sudden it starts spurting leaks everywhere. That's kind of what 2020 was the dads of the dads of the thing. Maybe they were well-intentioned. I don't know. But there was a lot of lack energy floating around for years previous. There was a lot of poverty energy, regardless if you have money or not. Poverty energy is all about entitlement and, I'm going to make all this money and then sit on it like Scrooge McDuck. That's poverty energy, because you can be rich and still have a poverty mind. And I think there was a lot of control and all of this stuff going on, like that whole Piscean energy. And then we shifted in 2020 into Aquarius, I think at the end of it or something like that. I'm not an astrologer, but that's kind of the whole thing. And the thing is, you kept having these folks, this energy going, let me put more duct tape on this. And there's like leaks sprouting everywhere. So the thing was that we had all this structure that we thought was working. and it wasn't. And finally, it just all was like, it blew up. Okay. And that's kind of what happened. And it felt like crap because when you're in a 4 year, fours want to be like, I don't like change. I want structure. I want dependability. I want to be stoic. And so that's kind of what happened. So in 2020, we had the structure breakdown, right? Because we were like ignoring all the things. Then in 2021, we had a 5 year. Now, five is all about the number five is like big change, which I think we all felt this year because when you and Desiree, you're in Vegas, right? What happens in Vegas every so often is they have like these old casinos and they want to build new ones. So what do? They have a big to do and they blow up the casino and it turns into this big pile of rubble. And then they have to clear all the rubble away. And then like for like a year, all of the architects and all the bigwigs and all this shit like that, they go and they argue about what is the new design going to be, what is going on with, all of this. What's it going to look like on the inside? What are the rooms going to look like? Like, what's our theme going to be? And then everybody argues for a year trying to create the best design ever. And that's kind of what went on last year or rather this year, 2020. I'm already ahead of the game because I'm so wanting to be in 2022. So in 2021, we spent this entire year, which is why it kind of felt so confusing because whether you are looking at from a perspective of the collective versus a perspective of you, and your life, both situations, you spent the year witnessing everybody be like, what are we doing? I don't even know. Or people fighting on, we're going to do it this way. And you're stupid if you think otherwise. Then you're stupid for saying that. Like this whole tit for tat bullshit of how we're going to do things. And then probably in your personal life, there was a lot of people quitting jobs. And it had nothing to, honestly, this is my firm belief, is that, the HR department is not there for you. The HR department is there for the company. And so their job is to make sure they try to figure out what to say to make you happy, even if they're just saying it to, blow sunshine up your skirt. And then you're happy for a little while. And then, this whole situation kind of pulled the veil back on that behavior of trying to keep people happy while getting what they want from you. And instead of saying, what would make you happy? Would this job make you happy? Because if it doesn't, we only want happy, like authentically happy people here. And if you're not happy, let's figure out where you would be, like being authentic, like in the legit, instead of like the way that corporate took the word authentic and ran off with it. But I digress. The fact is that when people really spent the last year and a half reconnecting with themselves and the stuff they love, that was the biggest wonderful opportunity of the pandemic, was reconnecting with what really matters to you and what really matters in your life. And when you do that, you're like, okay, I'm spending 10 hours a day doing a job. Do I want to stay there? Or do I want to go somewhere? So I don't think there's a labor shortage. I think there's a labor reshuffling going on. And that is indicative of the redesign because everyone's kind of like, okay, I blew that up because didn't like it. And it was old and it didn't work. It may have worked when it started, but it's not working now. I mean, how many times have we talked about that in the blue circles, right? We're going to let go of stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. 2020 was all about that. But then you kind of got to go, okay, what does serve me? And do I have it already in my toolbox or do I got to go look for it? And I think on a collective level, that's what the whole reshuffling of the workforce is being. I mean, that's a collective evidentiary of this number 5, this big change. We have arguments where people who have lived in the controlling mindset are trying to tell everybody what they should be doing. And let me tell you something. If you take nothing else from me today and you don't ever come back again, if you hear the word should, this is my advice for the millennia of like whatever this is. If you hear the word should come out of anybody's mouth, including your own inner voice, do the opposite. Because what's going on there is obligatory guilt or something else that's trying to make you do something that you probably don't want to do. Unless it's like, well, I should go to the bathroom before I go on an 8-hour car trip. That's the only kind of should that should matter. And there's only very few of those kinds of things. But other than that, run the other flipping way. That said, let's move on to 6, which is what we're cutting. We're getting an awesome year. It's about happiness. It is about balance and love. And it's such a heart-centered number, and the family and the hearth and all that kind of stuff. So, and protection of your own voice and your own purpose and power and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's one of those things where you go, wow, I really, you kind of 2020, pardon the pun, is hindsight. And you kind of go, yeah, the pandemic sucked, but what's good? What's good about it was, man, I really remembered why I picked these soul people to be with me on a soul level, though I picked certain folks to be my friends and my family. Why, or family, because, sometimes family is a blood. Um, and it's all about harmony and stability within yourself, within your family life, within how you set up your life. And this is all, again, a choice because, again, low and high, right? So if we got protection, we got harmony, we got happiness and heart centered stuff for a 6 year. And I keep looking down because I'm looking at my notes so I remember all this stuff because I wrote down a lot of stuff when I was like making my notes for today. We got to remember that all that kind of stuff, like 6 is community oriented. It's taking care of yourself so you can take care of others, nurturing self so you can nurture those around you. It's a very Archangel Gabriel kind of time. Lots of an Archangel Zadkiel, Archangel Jophiel, lots of beauty, lots of compassion, lots of creativity and mother nurturing and all that kind of stuff, and even if you're a man, you can mother nurture. Nurturing is a very high level, high vibrational masculine trait, by the way. But our 6th year, if we stand with that energy and we stand in the heart of that energy, because it is heart, love energy. And we say to ourselves a lot in the woo community, right? It's either love or fear in every single moment. If you're going to choose love more than fear, you're going to do good. If you choose fear all the time, I'm going to encourage you to stop doing that. Stop sitting in your shit, start looking at your sparkle, maybe do some DBT therapy stuff, and start looking for what's good, because if you don't, 6 can be the low side of 6 can feel like garbage. So you might be like, man. And the low vibrations of it are self-sacrificing, idealistic, passive. It's all the opposite. It's all the dark flip shadow sides of the higher vibrational stuff. So say you have supportive is I'm going to support myself so I can support others. The flip side is passive. Passive meaning I'm going to let you treat me like a doormat because I'm afraid you're not going to like me. Okay. So if you feel like you're doing that, start being supportive, self-care, so I can nurture others. Right. Then there's the self-sacrificing, again, keeping the peace, being the martyr. So everybody else is happy, but you. So this is the flip side of the whole, and I'm moving so fast. Sorry. Where did I write it down? So self-sacrificing, we don't want to do that because what we want to do, self-sacrificing is the opposite of harmony. There we go. My brain was having a fart at the moment. Sorry about that. So if the high side is harmony because you're just dwelling in it, self-sacrifice means I make myself small so they feel better. So we create a false sense of harmony. Okay. So if you see yourself doing that, start asking yourself, is this a false sense of harmony? Is this really who I want to be around? Or is this where I really want to work? Or are these the teachers I really want to hang out with? If I'm not speaking my truth and enjoying my life and all that kind of stuff, because am I self-sacrificing? If I'm putting myself on the altar of sacrifice so that everybody else can be happy, that's not harmony. Okay, so step back into harmony. And being idealistic. Idealism is the flip side of romanticism. So 6, since it's a heart thing, romance, not about so much where am I going to find my perfect partner, but rather about seeing the beauty and the compassion in the world. That's romanticism, because we're seeing the beauty and compassion in ourselves. Now, idealism is putting everything on a pedestal where we give the joy and the beauty and everything to the external. So that if it goes away, whether a partner leaves or somebody passes or something happens in the world that is ugly, your happiness is dependent on what you're seeing versus how you feel here. If you can be romantic on the inside, that's where Zadkiel, Archangel Zadkiel, all about compassion and love and jovial about beauty. Let us see the beauty and the love within ourselves so that we can see it in others versus I only look for it outside. So that doesn't make me happy because my happiness is dependent on what I'm looking at. And that's the low vibe of 6. Okay. So now that we've kind of saw where we were, hot mess to where we're going, la 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 la, if you choose, what I want to talk about is how we're going to do this reading. Okay. So I want to check the comments and just say hello. And so Desiree so far says, oh, I love the question. Am I being called to this or trying to force it? Yes. Control versus inspired action. Because people ask that question of me all the time when we're talking about manifesting, because I talk a lot about inspired action and your job description and the universe's job description and where does inspired action fall. And a lot of times you tell the difference between, am I forcing an outcome or am I being called to participate in the outcome? So that's a question to kind of keep in the back of your mind as we go through this, because come next year, when you can gauge your data point of where am I on the emotional guidance scale? Am I in fear? Am I in love? By what are you doing? Are you being called to something? Or are you trying to force something? Force is fear. Being called is higher vibe. Okay. And then let's see. Hoppa chick. Hello. Hey, 1L. Hey. We were just talking about dad energy with my military dad. Oh, so that's one of the twins. I think that's double L Michelle. Pixie chick. Pixel chick. Hey, 1L. We were just, yeah. Yep. They're the twins. And so they're super, super, there was some they have military dads. So happy Veterans Day. And we thank your dads, all the dads and the moms that have done us all the honor of protecting the energy. So anyways, happy Veterans Day. Thank you. And yes, and she says, dad stuff that didn't serve me and the obligatory guilt of duty. Yes. So that's a good point. Before we get started, Veterans Day, we love to say infinite gratitude and love to our veterans, but sometimes we try to own other people's stuff. And so, everybody, there's a job for everyone, so to speak, or a calling. There's work for everybody. Not everybody is a soldier, and not everybody's a creative. But our soul families are made up with these beautiful patchworks. Like, it makes me think of that song by Dolly Parton called "The Coat of Many Colors," about how all the little patchworks come together in the many colors. And my one of my friends here that's here, it was saying, there was a lot of duty and obligation coming through, but it was owning our heritage versus owning my own thing. That was her dad's calling. And her calling doesn't have anything to do with the same thing. So understand, we learn our wisdom from our ancestors. A lot of people talk about like trauma and all this other crap from their ancestors. You don't only get trauma from your ancestors, friends. You get lessons. And this might be one of them. So one of your parents or your grandparents may have had a calling of duty to a certain kind of work. And you don't have that, but you're owning the energy of it. And that's why it doesn't feel good. So if you can say, especially today on the 1111 portal, you can say, you know what, I'm realizing that energy doesn't serve me. My work lies elsewhere. And so I need to align my work with how I feel about me, with my core values. I mean, this is another energy going into March with like the Venus lineup stuff. Where's my worth? All that kind of stuff. So that's why these questions might be popping up where you're witnessing your ancestral, their calls of work, their calls to purpose, and realizing, oh, maybe I'm owning their stuff and not owning who I am because I'm not quite sure. And maybe I need to do some work there. So that's kind of where that was coming from. But anyways, let's talk about our reading now because we've been almost 30 minutes in. Got it. I know some people are on their lunch hour. So let's do this. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do, and this will be kind of like how a private reading would go as well. So this hero's journey, and links to all this stuff are down below if you love like the artwork and stuff. So the hero's journey, I'm a Joseph Campbell. I love him. He's awesome. And his hero's journey is so indicative of not just the mythology he studied, but also a person's life. And it's not like you go on the journey and then you go and sit in the lounge for the rest of your life. Once you come home and you do your return of the journey, you start over. You might rest for a little bit, but you start over and you keep going. So what we're going to do is pull one of these cards for an overarching, what is our collective journey spot for next year? That's number one. Then we're going to pull my favorite deck. I should have played favorites because like I have a zillion. And they're kind of like kids, so you don't want to play favorites, but they are the cutest, y'all. But is going to be animal spirit. So what is our animal totem for the year? Okay, so that what energy is that? And then the last one, and I'll just hold these up to the box somewhere else. And then we're going to do the Radley Valentine Angel Tarot and I love Angel Tarot because it's so much gentler than the traditional. And then these cards will be one for every month. So we see what is the energy so we can navigate better. Awesome. Great. I guess since I'm driving, I get to pick awesome or great. Alrighty. So let's see. And I cleared these before. So if you ever need a tip on how do I clear my cards, I just took a giant selenite wand and I laid it across all three decks together. What you can also do is you can knock on them, blow on them, wave them through some smoke for Palo Santo, and that kind of stuff. Just don't set them on fire because that would suck. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shuffle these until they feel good. I don't do the Vegas shuffle, the whole like poker table thing, because A, these are ginormous. Note the size of them. Number one. And number two, I'm not that coordinated. So I don't want to like have them go everywhere. Okay, they're telling me this one. All right. Okay. Oh, and then also when I do readings, sometimes certain decks are upside down. They have cards that are upside down. Certain ones do not. This does not. Animal does. So we will do this. Let's see. And we'll do this. And then we'll, yeah. This is already looking good, y'all. Oh, you already got me. Here. No. This here. Okay. Ooh. Okay. All I'm going to say is this. There are certain animals that I am not fond of, and when they come, but I honor their messages. You'll see what I mean in a second. But it's a good one. It's a good message, but I'm like, oh, can you just pick another one that says the same thing? Because, all right. So before I pull the 12, let's talk about the energy from the hero standpoint and from the animal totem standpoint. And you will totally, especially if you listened to the numerology and the energy there, because it makes total sense. So our first one, our hero's journey, or in this case, since we got a lot of ladies here, if you're a gent, sorry, I'm a lady, so we're going to use the she's. Our She-Rose journey card is celebrate the sacred gap. Oop. I can't, they're really shiny, so it's hard to see them without the glare. There, that might be better. Anyway, I love these cards. This artwork is so pretty. But anyway, celebrate the sacred gap. Give thanks for the buffer time. So part of, I think next year, there's to me, what Spirit is telling me, the duality of this, especially with the colors, because we see, again, notice all the greens, the lavenders, the purples, the amethyst colors, the white. That's where we have spiritual, like the predominance of green is very like heart center, heart chakra, all that kind of stuff, which makes sense for a heart year. And then the predominance overshadow the layer of purple or amethyst colors in there is your crown chakra. The white is your crown. It's also your third eye. So there's going to be this connection, I think, next year. Again, going back to that whole idea of it being a heart-centered year, a connection and support of others, very Aquarius thought processes where we are here together. We, a rising tide lifts all boats. And as long as we stay in love in our choices, we're going to sail through from a heart perspective very well. But also notice there's little bits of yellow up here, which is solar plexus. So about standing in your power, that's what's going to come out if you so choose. And then notice there's a lot of shadow. So this may also bring about a lot of shadow work, or it may be the result of you doing a lot of shadow work prior to the end of the year. That's why November and December is going to feel a little bit like bumpy road. If you choose not to say, I don't want to do my work, it's going to feel weird. If you choose to do your work, it'll still feel weird, but it'll feel weird, but with a purpose. And at the end, you'll feel better. So understanding that there is a bit of shadow, this is the dark right up here. Okay. So that understanding the contrast, here's the light, the heart, the connection to spirit, all that kind of stuff. And then this is your shadow where we get a choice. We get a choice. Contrast. What I don't want, what I do want. Where am I going to choose? Okay. And understanding that the way that you choose isn't control. The way that you choose isn't, I'm going to make this happen. The way that you choose is you be the choice. You choose. It says celebrate the sacred gap. Understand that there is this thing that we talked about earlier where you have a choice. Is it my job or the universe's job? What that means is, do I do the work or am I resting? And the sacred gap is the rest. The sacred gap is the space between the inhale and the exhale. It is the space of awareness. Okay, so when you have that buffer, we've had almost a year and a half of a buffer like that, because like I refer to the last few years as the forced inner retreat, because what else was there to do except do your thing, work on you. So honoring that time and saying what's good about this, as opposed to, we all know what was shitty. I mean, hello, I think you have to live in a sack to not know. So we can all acknowledge there was some shit there. Now is the time to say what was good. What was my sacred pause? What did I learn in that space? And taking what I learned about the process of sacred pause, that I give myself permission to stop and breathe and be in that sacred space that allows for awareness to prevail, so that you can make that love or fear choice from a wise place. See where I'm going? It's all connected, you guys. From a wise wisdom mind rather than an emotional mind. Okay? So that's the journey part. It's the learning, it's the lesson, honoring that sacred space, slowing down, giving yourself permission to say, it is safe for me to take a pause so that I can make the best, wisest decision for me in this moment. And also, I give myself permission that if I discover I didn't make the best decision because I have more information after I made the decision, I'm not going to beat myself up, and I'm going to take more pause time and make another decision. And that's okay. Okay. Now, for the animal that's not my favorite, if you've watched me a while, whenever I pull this card, I'm like, oh God, really? Not because of the message, but because of the animal. Because y'all know, not my favorite. Not my favorite animal. I know I'm supposed to love God's creatures, but even my spiritual guide out in Sedona told me, she said, it's okay if you holler, go to heaven and squish them if they're in the house. So I do. But I take their message and I honor it. Now, spider spirit. So this is next year's energy. What does that mean? Because spiders are the messenger, right? They weave into being. So what this message is, and it's upside down. So I do want to say, because we got a lot of you guys here, the upside down card is not like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Okay. That's not the upside down card. The upside down card has 3 meanings, and you know which one is the one for you. It's, I didn't know that. It's, I forgot that I knew that. Or it's, I know that, but I'm afraid to do the work and I just don't wanna, but I guess I'm going to have to because. Okay. That's why it's upside down. So here's your reminder or your learning experience or your swift, loving kick in the ass, which would be make your dreams real. You are in charge. That's what this year is about. You learned last year and the year before how to navigate. Okay. Spirit's talking way too fast, y'all. So there's a lot of bullshit in the manifesting community. So I'm just going to take a pause and do an aside, sidebar, whatever the hell you call it. People don't teach, for the most part, that manifesting doesn't happen in a vacuum, which is why in that circle, there's a lot of blame, shame, and guilt around manifesting, saying, well, you did this to yourself. No. Sometimes you didn't know what you didn't know. Sometimes shit happens like weather events or government events or people just being assholes. You can't control other people. We talk about this. So, like, here's the thing, you can't control other people navigating their journey. You can just control yours. We all know this. But then there's still this, like, well, you attracted blah, blah, blah. Okay, listen, we don't manifest in a vacuum. We manifest in a collective. What we can control and manifest is based on our energy. So, yes, sometimes shit happens. Like when my house flooded with 4 foot of water in it, and so did 100 and some odd thousand others in Nashville in 2010. Did I bring that on? No. Did I choose how to navigate it so I manifested everything I needed and did not have to borrow any money or any of that crap? Yes. But it's choosing it. So here's what happens. So say you're in a community of like 1 million people and the majority of them are kind of scared and low vibrational. That's going to bring about some shit you're going to have to navigate, but you get to choose how you navigate it. Okay. So with that in mind, the last 2 years, we maybe manifested as a collective. It's like, voting. If everybody votes for the shit, then we get shit. If everybody votes for the sparkle, we get sparkle. So I think you'll start noticing that as we move into 2022, people are starting to be like, you know what? I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of arguing. Where can we find a compassionate middle ground that allows each of us to own our own autonomy in our belief system, but also work with each other to create a better space for all of us? And on an individual level, I think what's been forgotten because there has been so much stuff is that you can create your own stuff. You can create, the only time I ever hear people talk about, well, what, manifesting and stuff like that. Oh, well, we all created some shit. Let's talk about how we all created awesome. That's why I'm saying focus on what's good. Think about the last 2 years and what's good. I reconnected with my family and I really enjoy that. I learned how to cook bread and I really enjoy that. I'm going to keep that. What do you want to keep and what do you want to let go of so that you can make your dreams a reality? Because you are not the same version of you that woke up one morning in November in 2019. None of us are. You can't go through the shit we all went through in the last 2 years and have us come out and be like, oh, I just feel like it was yesterday that I was a different You are a different version of you now. And I think we've all had our worlds a little rocked. So understanding and that making your dreams real is within your power. I'm here to remind you of that. Just the other day, and you can watch it. When we did the demystifying oracle card readings and tarot card readings with Matthew. And he said at the end of it, you remind people of their divinity and that they can make their dreams real. So I'm reminding you now, yes, next year is about reminding you that you can manifest your dreams. I don't care what they are. You can do them. You just have to own it. Okay. So that's the overarching energy is celebrate that sacred gap. Live in the awareness that you want to live in so you can make those choices between love and fear. And then from that frame of mind, you can make your dreams real because once you master the one, the other happens. Because if you are in mindfulness most of the time, you're going to choose love. You're going to choose what you want. You're going to be able to manage your focus and your energy. And that will bring in the things that you want. Okay. So that's that. So let's get on with the months because time's a wasting, as they said in that June Carter Cash song. Okay, so let's pull our months. This is a long one, y'all. I had a lot of information Spirit wanted me to talk to you about. So I hope, if you had to leave because you had to pee or whatever, you come on back and watch the replay because, it's going to be here for a while, so you won't miss nothing. Okay. Man, I'm burning up, y'all. Channeling is hot work when you're a middle-aged woman. Oops, we got a jumper. January. Hell yeah, January. That's some Chariot right there. Mm-hmm. Okay, we done yet? And so this one? Okay, that's February. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Don't you love when I say that, but I haven't shown you anything yet? But don't worry, I'm not going, oh shit, I'm not doing that. Okay, we're gonna put these on top and then we can go. Okay. March. La la la. April. May. June. July. August. Ooh, that's my favorite card. September. Lots of feminine energy, y'all. October, November, and December of next year. Okay. Interesting. So here's a funny. The last couple of years, when I do this, I notice when I do private readings, what kind of cards pop up a lot. And there was a lot of earth cards. There were a lot. I mean, most people last time there was this whole thing with, what do you call it? Major arcana. Everybody had like half their spread was major arcana. And when you see major arcana in my world, it means you're going to deal with some serious life changes. Like some serious, like you either going to lean into the curve and have a good experience, or you're going to like hit the brakes and scream and swerve everywhere and have a shitty experience. But I feel like those are like we always have them, but not to the extent we have had them, which is true, because I was wondering about that when I thought, well, and here out of 12 we have 3, and they're nicely spread out, and they're all none of them feel harsh. And then the other thing I'm noticing is a lot of there's more balance. So we have one of every in this, and so the last couple of years it's been like heavy on 2 different depending on the person, where you have your earth, fire, water, and air cards. Here we have a nice mix. So this is also bringing, again, more balance to 2022 than we have seen recently. And lots of court cards too, which is nice because it means we're elevating in our energy. I love that, y'all. So I will repeat though, even though 6 has a very good heart-centered energy, so the 2022 year is a 6 year and it's heart-centered energy, remember, there is contrast with everything, you know? If you're alive and breathing, you're manifesting and you're experiencing contrast. So know that everything is a choice as we move through, and every incident that we experience contrast with intensity, that's when you have to stop and do that sacred pause, that sacred gap, so you can be in awareness and say, how do I want to navigate this? Okay. So here we go. The Chariot. Y'all, this is a major arcana card. Major shift in January, but it's good. It's this, notice the black and the white horses. I guess they're Pegasuses, or I guess they would because they're flying around. Anyways, notice the dark and light. That kind of reminds me yin and yang. That reminds me of like the balance is coming back, which totally makes sense since 6 is about balance and harmony, right? So also, who's over this card but Metatron, the great teacher, the person who sat at God's knee and took notes. If you read the Bible, like extra stuff that's like kind of, they don't talk about Enoch a lot. You know why? Because he got drew up by God and converted into the Archangel Metatron. There's only 2 humans ever, Metatron and Sandalphon, that have done that. But basically, Metatron was like God's legal secretary. God was like, hi, here's my notes for the day. And Metatron was like, I'm going to write all this down and create some curriculum. So understanding that Metatron is our greatest teacher. Metatron is also over the Christ grid, Earth crystal grid. Okay. So this is all coming from Christ energy, ascended master energy. Makes sense why we're doing this today. And I'm sorry it's kind of dark, like literally outside. And I'm taking these off because otherwise it's blurry. It's pouring. So if it's dark, I'm sorry. Normally there's a lot more light in here. Anyways, so the Chariot is all about our triumph. I feel like it's a triumph. It's a return to balance. It's a return not to the kind of balance we know from before all of this. This is the new version of balance. This is new energy. Just think of like when you watch old movies and people fly in on these chariots with the 2 horses and they just come pounding in. So it may be like you're witnessing this race in where someone has a message or something. That's what I'm getting. And they leap from their chariot and they run up the stairs to hand the message to the person who's important. And that message is the war is over. So whatever was going on that was creating all of this stuff. Now, mind you, it's not going to be like, oh, it's over. Okay, we can go back to it'll take 12 more months with a little bit of a backlash somewhere in the fall of next year. But understand that it's almost like come January, it's the notice comes of you did a good job. It's time to lay down arms and time to start figuring out how we're gonna, we have our design. Like I said, the 4 was the blow up. The 5-year, 2021 was people fighting about what's it gonna look like. January is we've decided on a design, and here it is. Okay. So, and that's funny because February is King of Earth. Now, Earth is like manifest, like things made manifest. So, just to give you background, the way that I read these, it's 4 elements. 4 elements are the 4 steps of the manifesting, right? So you have air, you have water, love and emotion. That creates your vibration. That's where all vibrations come from. It's where thoughts come from. And then air is thought. So you go water, air, fire is action, making the thing, choosing which side of the fence am I going to come down on, love or fear, which side of the contrast, the thing I want, or am I going to focus on what I don't want and get that? And the earth cards are made manifest. The major arcana, which are purple, are much more about here's a lesson for you. So our next card is King of Earth, generous, prosperous. Sound familiar? These are all 6 things. Green is also the color of the heart chakra. So February, which makes, and it's February, it's love month. We are going to feel that love, y'all. It's going to be so good. Generous, professional, practical. It's a successful time, confidently accepts opportunities that are offered. So that Chariot running in and saying, it's over. It's not even asking what do you want to do with it really until the end of January, but it's like it's over. Oh, well, let's all exhale. Then February, that transition to February is about what do you want to manifest out of this? Let's be high vibrational and manifest these wonderful King of Earth vibes of I bring such balance back into the physical. It's not just a thought now. It's not a lesson learned now. It's I'm putting that lesson to work in wisdom, like how I talked earlier about emotional mind, which I think 2021 has been all about the emotional mind going, you're right, I'm wrong. Then we had logic, which was everybody trying to figure out what is the best way to handle things. And now as we head into 2021, it's blending those into wisdom, letting go of the shit, owning the sparkle, and how do I apply that, what I've learned. And that's when you manifest the stuff that you want in February, okay? And then we're going to have a new vibration come in. Because in March, you have Page of Water, which is intuitive and sensitive. So what we're and artistic and friendly, which again is aligned with the 6 energy, because it's all about harmony, feeling good about things. Notice how we have our playful little whales, and there's kind of a goddess or an angel kind of floating around up there on the top, hanging out with them and keeping the storms at bay. Unless you choose different, just putting that out there. If you doom scroll versus like look on the Good News Network, you're going to have problems. But if you flow with the energy and you allow yourself, you're going to have nice, playful things. This is actually Page of Cups in the traditional tarot. So it's filling the cup with those spiritually based, love-based feelings. So come March, it's almost like your first quarter is all about, oh, good, it's over. What are we going to do about it? I'm going to implement what I want in my house. Like, as for me in my house, I'm going to serve this, this, and this. And then because you're making those choices to align with your core values, a new vibration arises, and it is much more aligned with your soul purpose versus controlling outcomes. So the first quarter of next year is going to be all about a big shift in how we do things. So what might happen is things might come up, because again, it's not all unicorn farts and sparkle. Things might come up and you're going to be like, I really should be worried about that, but I don't feel like I want to worry about that. And I'm kind of okay with that. It's almost like you will hear the echoes of old versions of you and kind of find, and instead of going embracing them and trying to scramble them back, it's going to be an observing mode and going, oh, that's interesting. That's how I was. God, that was a lot of stress I put on myself. Why did I do that for so long? It's going to be like that. Okay. So let's go look into the next thing. So here's a cool thing. So you have this first quarter of here's the info. We finally are getting past some stuff. Here's why I'm going to manifest it. And then I'm going to have this new vibration. And then come April, you get Queen of Fire, confident, warm, intelligent, graceful. When I see her, though, fire to me is like when you put your intention in the oven and you leave it in there. Now, let me ask you, if you know how to bake or cook anything, if you keep opening the oven, the heat reduces and it takes longer to cook, right? Because you're doing the Sheldon Cooper thing of penny, penny, penny. Is my manifestation done yet? She doesn't do this. She goes, I know I can manifest anything I put my mind to. I know when I'm called to something and when I'm controlling it, and I do what I'm supposed to do. So when we see her pop up, this means that the intentions that come out of this vibration are going to be put in the oven and left to cook. And it's really interesting because that's April. Now, come May, we have another fire card. It's a lower number. So it's not as intense as that, but it's more like out of all this stuff, because our 6 year is so community based, this makes so much sense. Come, what is that? January, February, March, April, May. May is 2 of fire. The CR2 guys here, this could mean if you're trying to manifest, you might over manifest. If you're trying to manifest partners, you might over manifest. Well, now I got to choose. Which one do I really want? It might also be because 2 of fire is all about, coming into your own, and like, which is still, again, still part of the energy of this year, stepping into your voice, being supportive of owning your truth, owning your honesty, being loyal to your values, right? So what happens is new partnerships or contracts, and you've got 2 people here either making friends. I also, when I see this, sometimes it's like a choice between 2 partners. You may have a lot of opportunities come open because you're doing such a good job at baking those intentions, and you're going to have to be like, oh, which one do I choose? Or you might have the bandwidth for all of it, which is good. Okay. Then as we head into June, I love this. The Knight of Water, emotional, romantic. It's a key word for this next year. Enthusiastic, competitive. It's like, so a lot of times, since water is all about love and emotion, when you see the Knight of Water, somebody might be asked to marry, you might be witnessing an engagement. It's the beginning of solidifying a relationship. Or it could be you are, and this is kind of more what I feel it is, like all of that kind of stuff is surface to me a lot of times, and is the result of when you do these kinds of internal works. When you see this card, it might be like it might take you that first 6 months of and learning how to embrace the sacred gap to where you can reunify and give yourself the invitation back to self. That might be what this is. Because I feel like of course, June is weddings, which is why, it falls in every year. I feel like it comes like up around the summertime, but it's also about balancing your emotions, which is what I think is more when you create unity within yourself. Think of the yin and the yang symbol. It is the masculine and the feminine in balance with self. It is where you show up as a complete being, not that Jerry Maguire bullshit about you complete me. You want to have 2 complete beings in a relationship, because again, if you are seeking someone else to fill a spot or an emotion in you, that's not completeness, because when they leave, you're going to be like, oh my God, why do I mean, that's what happens whenever I see on Facebook and all these manifests. How do I manifest my ex back? I'm like, scroll. No, you're not missing your ex, honey. You know what you're missing? The thing the part of you that person took up that you need to heal so that you can be complete. That's what's missing. You don't want your ex back. You want to feel complete. And to do that, you got to feel complete within yourself. So I feel like in June, that will happen if you so choose. That's a shadow work thing. And it's emotion and love, self love and emotion, right? So if you can romanticize and not idealize what that means for you, if we can see the compassion in self, be more compassionate with self, be more, I see the beauty around me and everywhere I go, I have an intention to enter this day and interact with joy with others versus I'm going to go find joy and then I'm going to smother it and call it George, you know, because when it wiggles away and runs off, there goes your happiness. So this is your card in June to learn how to find that completeness within yourself. Okay. So that's your first 6 months. Lots to do, but not the kind of lots to do for the last 2 years. This is a much more integrating the wisdom thing. So that's good. Then we have July. I'm going to take a sip because we're at an hour. I've been chatting, and why this thing keeps popping up and interrupting our thing is really annoying me. God, y'all, this tea is so good. So July, Ace of Fire. Now, can I tell you, every time I see this card, he reminds me of Gaston and Beauty and the Beast, who is a total asshole. So I'm not sure what's going on other than here, Ace of Fire. Now, the energy of Ace of Fire, again, Ace of Fire is about rods or staff or whatever, you know, depending on what you call it in your tarot. But on paper, exciting new opportunity, which, you know, would be par for the course. That might happen, which is good because you are intending for such things, because right now we're letting go of a lot of stuff that doesn't serve us. What that leaves us with is a vacuum, which a lot of folks get scared of because you're like, well, what do I do now? I don't have any previous experience here. Well, you have the opportunity to say to yourself, what experience do I want to create? And when you do that, opportunities come in. And if you stick to the high vibration of this, what will happen is you have more opportunities. Now, when I see him, because his smug little face, what I see comes with it is that almost that itty bitty shitty committee energy where you've been like doing the work for 6 months. And sometimes, you know, here comes the contrast. It might be doubt during the letting it bake in the oven. It might be fear. So come July, I'm going to encourage you, be on guard to do and use the tools for your shadow work when the IBSC shows up and like you start second guessing your opportunities. The reason I'm saying that you're going to prevail is the next month's card. But I do want to bring that to your attention because this is a map. You need to know your GPS for next year so you know where to take, you know, an exit and go have a burger so that you can take a minute, like the sacred gap, right? Like this, to remember, hey, I create my dreams. I create all of them. And right now, this is my pause to ask myself, what am I creating? Is it what I want? It hasn't come to be yet because it ain't an earth card. It's a fire card. It's in the mix. It's in the cauldron. It's cooking itself up. And the smug little bastard on the front of the card is like, ha ha, do you want this or do you want that? And this isn't about guilt and shame. This is about power. This is about taking your divine power back and embracing it within yourself and remembering who you are. I'm not here to smack you with a ruler. I'm here to remind you that you are so loved and you are so divine that all of this is in your grasp. And sometimes our earthly experience is like, you sure about that? And you can stand up when you remember that you are divine and you have the power to stand in the sacred gap. And you can say, damn straight it's mine. And then move on to August, High Priestess, favorite card in the whole effing deck. This tells me that you will make the right decision. You will stand in love and not fear. You may waffle around because I talk about, if you've taken my Law of Attraction course, which if you have not, don't do it now, but you can go and get it. It's free on my website. I talk about waffling around because it's not the universe is testing me. It is, I am testing myself because the law of compensation, the law of balance, and all of this business says the universe only steps to what you bring. So if you're bringing indecision, if you're bringing doubt, waffle, the waffling around. Do I go this way? Should I stay or should I go now? Okay. But I know you're going to go because she's showing up here in August. Thank God, because August is usually a sucky weather month in Tennessee where nobody can get their hair to do anything worth shit. And it's hot as hell. So I am so glad to see her for August because it's about embracing your intuition, leaning into that small, still voice within yourself and your own divinity, the divine purpose that is you, your divine spark, that which gives you the power to create, standing in your sacral or your solar plexus power or your sacral power, honoring the pleasure that you want to experience. All of that. Okay. August. So don't worry about July. July will feel real waffly. It'll be like, nah, but don't worry because August is coming and it may weather-wise not be super awesome. Let's intend for it to be dry and beautiful and in the 70s. And maybe it will because High Priestess might bring that wonderful energy in. But understand the ebb and flow, okay? And once you get your traction from your spirit side, right? You're a spiritual being having a human experience. Once you regain that unification within yourself, oh girl and boy, depending on who's watching, because I know Matthew will be here. Archangel Gabriel, the Empress. Talk about a lovely combination of a card and an archangel. So Gabriel, everyone knows Gabriel, especially as we're coming up on Christmas, the Bible story of like the Archangel Gabriel. And it's like, hey, Mary, guess what? The rabbit died. You're expecting. Guess who the daddy is? That whole business, that's Gabriel. So Gabriel, a lot of times people think is just over creativity and writing or a lot of writing, storytelling, because Gabriel's the messenger of God. But because Gabriel is like besties with the Madonna, with Mother Mary, Gabriel's also over mothering energy, mothering challenges. Like when people pray, and just to be clear, they're not praying in idolatry to Gabriel. They're praying for like Gabriel has God's ear kind of thing. So if you're going to go from that point of view, praying to Gabriel, asking for support in how do I nurture my child? How do I nurture myself? Maybe I need to know how to mother myself. Mother Mary is also good for this, but since we're talking about Gabriel, how do I give myself the message of nurturing? This is going to be your September. And the Empress is the ultimate mothering. There's a lot of abundance because, we give a lot of nurturing. Nurturing could be abundance of, any sort of thing we love. It might be self-care. It might be money. It might be, chocolate. It might be where am I going to nurture myself in abundance? And the Empress is also the Mother Mary energy. Like I said, Gabriel and Mother Mary go hand in hand. And how am I nurturing myself? So once you kind of go through this kind of bumpy part in August or July and August, and you come out in August where you're like reconnecting with your spiritual side, that's still small voice, all that business. And you come out the other side, you realize nurturing myself, and this goes for men too. When I nurture myself, I become a better partner, a better person, individual, a better partner in my family, partner to my partner, parent to my family, a better, sibling, a better friend, a better colleague, a better mentor to those who I teach, maybe a better student to my teachers, all of this. When we get into that Empress nurture energy, that's where you're going to really start to see the 6 energy come up because of the heart-centered energy of that month. So next year in September, which by the way, no, July, August, yeah, Empress is September, which by the way, just for the record, since this is being recorded, it's my birthday month. So if you're watching this later and you want to get me a card or a gift or whatever, September. So if you want to nurture me, go on with your bad self in September. But anyways, it's such a great feeling. Now, the pendulum's going to swing back and forth because what might happen in October is two of air. Now, this is again thought, because air is thought. It's also swords. You're wondering what it is in the regular tarot. So when we have the crossing of the swords, notice the light energy that's coming off their horns right there. It's because we might have internal conflict between old self and new self, because when we transition, there's a lot of ascension, y'all. This last couple of years has been lots and lots of ascension stuff. And so come the end of next year, what might happen is you hit October and you might have more from external and internal. And this is thought based, not which could perpetuate coming into the real, but I don't think so, because every other card for the rest of this year is going to be an air card. So it's a lot of thinking. But it might be internal conflict where I got rid of those tools that don't serve me, but I'm so used to them to cope with things and I don't need them anymore. But you might be reaching back and realizing they're not there. And that's a good thing. But it might cause internal conflict or internal observation of, oh, well, that's an interesting turn of events. It might also be where you overthink something. You say to yourself on the surface, I'm going to go back and forth and look at all sides. And then really it's just, what do you call it? Where you're sitting on the fence and you don't come down, where you don't poop or get off the pot, and not understanding that that is a decision unto itself where you are paralyzed. Oh, and analysis paralysis. That might be what's going on there too, because you are overwhelmed. Yes, the first half of the year, first 3 quarters has been like, okay, we're doing this. We're going. Yeah, there might be some bumps in the road, but we're navigating really good. And then all of a sudden you might have these lower form ideas because you're starting to question. And that's okay, because again, we're all in that shift. And because your November, a year from about now, is the king of air, king of thoughts. You are back in charge of your thought process. You might, in October, kind of go back to that whole, well, my thoughts are their own thing unto themselves. I don't have control over them. It might be I'm watching the news again when I really ought not to. And it might be I'm not nurturing myself enough like I was last month. And therefore I'm kind of like, am I making the right decision? I don't know. But now we're back into the king of air in November, where your qualities are a lot more balanced. Notice diplomat, impartial. We're talking about balance where you can see both sides and be okay with it. Whereas the November or the October card is I see both sides and I don't know what to do. Or I see both sides and I'm irritated about it. So understanding that November is more, you kind of work all that stuff out in October and you come out and your thoughts are a lot more clear and it's really, really good. 3 of air in December. Now, this card is again a lower vibrational or a lower energy card. And it is sometimes about something, what I'm getting though, it's about sadness of something happening. But again, it's an air. So it's a perspective. It is a thought. It's not, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. It's more, we might all just be exhausted. We might all witness something as a collective that everybody can get on board with and is collectively giving each other a hug. The 3 of air is also about saying, I realize everything that I did or I didn't do, and a lot about self-forgiveness. So my encouragement for December of next year, because I think you'll have a moment or a month of reflection in December of next year where you may judge yourself. You may judge what's going on outside of you. But understanding the law of oneness states that we are all one. It's all our energy. Yes, we have that illusion of separateness. However, the fact is that we move as one unit, okay? And so if we can do the Ho'oponopono, which is that forgiveness exercise of the four lines of I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you, which a lot of times people like kind of have resistance against because it says I'm sorry in it. But what you're saying is you're apologizing to yourself and making amends to self for leaning into fear rather than love, just to clarify that. So in December, if you can work with the Ho'oponopono exercise, that probably is going to support you through that month because there's going to be like you might say something mean and not realize you did it, or you might in a flash of anger and now you feel bad because you don't want to hurt the people you love. And so, or it might be you did something, you didn't know that it was going to turn out bad, and now you're kind of blaming yourself. So do a lot of self forgiveness, do some forgiveness work for others in next December, and that's going to get you through. And I'm guaranteeing you that the lessons you learned from the last 2 years and all of the transformation that you're going to implement with the wisdom going into it, your December culmination is going to be like that reflection of, yeah, I lost some friends or I lost some family because of my shift, but, I didn't do it out of malice. I had to do what was best for me. Because a lot of times when we talk about ascension, people go, well, my friends are going away or whatever. But then you find new friends. Ask anybody who's gone through it. You find a new circle of friends. You figure out who in your family is in your corner for real. But that in between time, which I think is what the December is going to be for next year, give yourself that space. That's why the ultimate journey card is celebrate the sacred gap. Give yourself that space. What do I need? Not about nurturing here. What do I need? And do that for yourself. Give yourself permission to love yourself. I think that's the overarching theme for the year. Learning how and giving yourself permission to do the things you need to do to create the world you want for yourself, for the collective, all of that. So, holy moly, an hour and 15 minutes. I could talk to a wall, it seems like. How's everyone doing? Can you come in and just pop in and give me a high five? How is this landing with you guys? Any revelations? Was it overwhelming and you're going to come back and look? Let me know. Chat me. Do you have a question of clarity? If you have a question about anything I said before we go. Slurping away, waiting for you guys to type because I know I didn't take typing in school, so I type slow compared to some people. But just anything that you want to share with me. Do you need clarity about what was said here? Oh, Katie, that was so great. Good. I'm so glad. I'm looking forward. Katie already booked her private session with me, and so did Kathy. So the two of them that are together, they already are on the calendar. So that kind of, let's see, everything makes sense on my journey. Tanya, and you and I have a session soon too. Good. I'm so glad that's helpful. So glad it's helpful. And while we're kind of waiting for people to chime in, really quick reminder, if you loved this and you want to stay in touch next year, I'm going to be expanding the channel to talk about light grids and crystal grids and how to work with them. I'm going to be doing my weekly readings every Monday at 11 Central Time. Manifesting videos, of course, manifesting videos left and right. If you haven't done my 7-day quick start, make sure you go to the website and get that. Or I think you can click on any of the Monday videos and or the ones that say weekly reading, and in there should be a link. Oh, duh. So you can do this this was for the global collective. Okay. So yes, it will resonate with you. And it is a map for how we're going to move forward as a group on the planet. If you need or want to have your private, like, how are you going to navigate next year? What's specific for you? Then you can go ahead and book a session with me. Now, they do go fast because I only do them to the first week of January. And I take off 2 weeks because I'm going to self-care myself between Christmas and New Year's. So we got a couple weeks left in this month, a couple weeks next month. So there's not that many spots. And if you book, what you get is you get the 14 cards. You get an audio replay. You get a PDF of your card spread. You also get 2 bonuses this year. Oh, and this is an hour or more, obviously, because if we have to talk about other stuff. I try to keep it to an hour because I want to make sure I'm mindful of everybody's time. And then your bonuses for doing when you do this is you're going to get a complimentary golden ticket to my January Manifest Your Dreams 2.0 launch party and workshop, where we're going to do connecting to your core value, because I think everyone's is different now. It's a big topic in astrology right now, like really understanding your worth and your value and what do I want and how do I want that, like that kind of stuff. And then we're going to talk about the new stuff that I'm doing with the Manifesting 2.0. And then your other bonus is you get on the 2023 VIP list, which if you were a VIP, like some folks here, you knew about these private readings like 2 weeks ago or whatever, and you get all the bonuses throughout the holidays. You get all the VIP bonuses. You get pre-access or pre-sale access to my calendar, so you get the best spots you want. Like I said, limited capacity. So if you're a VIP, you get first dibs. So there we go. But anyways, oh, and Pixel Chick, are you Michelle or Marcia? Because it just tells me Pixel Chick. I'm assuming it's Michelle. Michelle with 2 L's. And virtual hug back to you. And I was so happy I got to give her a real hug the other day. And yes, Tanya, I'm going to see you on Thursday. Not this Thursday, not today, next week. And so glad everything makes sense. So grateful for you guys to show up with me today. I'm going to let you go before we hit an hour 30. I loved all this. This feels so good for me. I hope it felt really good for you. And again, subscribe, like, thumbs up, hit the bell, all the thingies. I love you guys so much. And I'm so excited to fully move over to YouTube. The feedback that I'm getting about leaving Facebook as like my platform of choice and coming over here so everybody can hang out and it's not as toxic. In fact, it's super, super positive if we get to focus on what we want to focus on. I love that. And I'll talk more about that in another video, but feels so good over here. 2022 is going to be a good year, you guys. It's going to be awesome. And I know everyone will rise. I look forward to witnessing you rising. And it is an honor of my life to do that with you guys. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you guys. If you're watching on the replay, leave a comment. Let me know if you love this and how it spoke to you and what you're feeling. I know it's a long watch, so maybe podcast it if you're at work. I didn't do a dance or anything. So, I just slurped my tea and that was the most exciting like visual here. So anyways, I love you guys so much. Remember, celebrate that sacred gap. You can create your world. And next year, it's going to be a lot about integrating all the stuff we learned into our wisdom mind, into our wise mind, so that we can move forward from a different space full of love, harmony, support, and all the good things. Okay? I love you so much. Have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go eat me some lunch. And I will see you soon. Love you guys so much. And by the way, the link, if you wanted to do a private thing, is down below. So all the links there. If you like the decks and you don't have them, those are below too. Trying to remember all the things I got to say. That's it. I love you so much. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see you soon. Bye, y'all. You're the bomb. I love you. Bye.